Hi guys, and welcome back to episode number 52 of the Couch on Ice podcast. Got a few games to chat about and it's American Thanksgiving yesterday, so it's that time of the year where we start guessing whether teams will make the playoffs. We'll probably do that today, but before we get into some hockey news, let's throw it over to Jordan to start, since he actually celebrated a weird-ass holiday in the middle of November. Jordan, how's your American Thanksgiving for the first time ever?
It was good. We cooked us a honey ham. We had stuffing. We had mashed potatoes. We had
the fixins.
Candied yams.
Never had yams in my life.
I didn't like it. He loves it, man.
Yeah.
Sweet potatoes are decent.
It's basically like sweet potatoes.
Oh yeah, I don't like sweet potatoes, so like. I can't really.
It was an experience. It was really good though. The food was really good.
Was it weird, like celebrating Thanksgiving for a second time in a month?
It just felt like early Christmas eating.
Yeah, fair enough. So
it's basically Christmas to those guys down there.
Yeah. Before I throw it over to Chase, why don't you give us a little rundown? How's it been in Nevada since you've been there? Give us your little past week of what you've been doing.
It's been good. The first day was an adjustment, which I didn't honestly think about.
Just jet lagged or what?
Altitude sickness.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot higher up here.
Huh.
So I was getting used to the oxygen and all that shit.
That makes sense.
Nice.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was just really the first night and then the second morning.
Right.
But I'm good now. I haven't really experienced anything, so. But really, we've just been eating a lot of good food. We've been hanging out. We did some shopping together.
Able to actually go out and do shit.
Yeah, we've been exploring around Carson City.
What's all about there? So what do you like? What's there to do there? Anything like interesting? I don't know anything about Carson City.
Not really. It's
is it like a moose jaw?
City.
Is it like okay? So moose jaw.
Really pretty.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Just pretty.
A modern moose jaw. Gotcha. A retirement city that looks nice. So
yeah, exactly. Modern moose jaw. It's a great way to put it.
Gonna head up any hockey games while you're there?
We might.
Might go to a Vegas game.
I wish. That's on the agenda. That's on the agenda. I even brought that up.
That would be amazing. That'd be like number one thing to do if I was there.
Yeah. The plan one day is to head to Vegas and we're gonna go see a Jack Eichel game.
You gotta go when Jack Eichel comes too, man.
No doubt.
That'd be sweet. So how far is Vegas from where you're living there? Where are you?
It's about 8 hours. So it's a drive, but it's not unrealistic.
Takes a minute to get there.
Yeah. It's like going to Edmonton?
Yeah, Edmonton-ish, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a day trip, but it's worth it if you're spending at least a week.
Well, you'll be spending the weekend there in Vegas. That's something you can do for a couple days for sure. So sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome, you're having a dope time.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
Fuck yeah. Well, I'll throw it over to Chase then, and he can talk about his lavish week. Chase, did you travel anywhere super nice where you got to wear shorts or what?
Yeah, I do it every day in my brain.
Yeah.
Go meditate somewhere sweet and disappear into the universe. Yeah, it is nice. Yeah, no, nothing like that.
You've been freezing your balls off like me.
Yeah, just basically look outside, see it's cold, and be like, that's nice. I'm gonna stay in here then, I guess.
Guess I ain't taking the garbage out today.
That's like the greatest thing of the day.
Taking the garbage out? You should probably find new things to do during your day, Chase. If that's the peak, I'm a little worried.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have tagged along with Jordan there and went to Nevada. Get altitude sickness with him instead of just looking forward I can't wait till 5 o'clock so I can take out the garbage.
Hell yeah, man. Waiting for the garbage man all week.
Oh, I'm just glad that we moved the podcast a little day later so I won't hear the garbage truck outside because our garbage bin's right outside our place and it's loud as fuck when he comes and takes it. So can't complain about that. But should we jump in some games?
Sure.
Because I got nothing interesting that I did to talk about this week. Actually, I got one thing that I did this week that Kennedy called me really weird about it, and I'm starting to wonder if she's right. I found out every time I watch a hockey game, because it's not often I'll watch like the starting ceremony of games ever, like the national anthems and stuff. I found out that every time that they play a national anthem, I naturally take my hat off because I'm always wearing a hat. And
Wow.
I don't know why. I've never noticed this. And it's not something where I'm like, oh, it's the national anthem. I got to remember to take my hat off. I just do it. And she
That's
called
so
me.
weird.
It's really weird because she called me out
Crazy.
on it. She's just like, did you just take your hat off when they said take your hat off? I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I did. I didn't even realize.
Just a drone. Hey,
So I presume-
say anything, and Rylan's doing
I based
right now.
based on how you guys are acting, I can tell that's a little like not normal. So
All I'm hearing is that we're just living in a simulation.
Yeah.
seems to make sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm just on autopilot and I do it. I used to go to lots of Warrior games and like I used to. I don't know. I do it every time I live game because like that's normal. Like you don't want to be the one asshole wearing a hat during the national anthem. And I'm not like the biggest patriot
I'm
of all
honestly-
time ever.
I found myself a lot of times just walking to my seat or something like that, like just so far away in the middle of nowhere.
During the anthem.
Yeah, like,
Fair enough.
like
always
in
get
the
caught,
hallways.
too.
I never do.
You're that awkward guy just kind of standing there in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like most people are not, like nobody's stopped. Like you're in the hallway, you
Oh.
can hardly hear it. And you're
Oh,
like,
really?
walking, like
I'm at my seat every time.
yeah,
Every
somehow
time.
I've missed it quite a few times. But
I'm
yeah,
also
it's just
really
strange. Like even if it's going on and you're in the hallways, like I don't know which building it was, but it just wasn't like crazy loud. So
Right.
like I don't know, nobody really stopped and
Yeah,
chilled
I
or
don't know.
whatever. Everybody was still walking to wherever they needed to go because like, well, it's the start of the game. I need to. I'm still trying to get my seat. You know.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just weird, I guess, because like I don't leave my seat during games. Like any sporting event, really. Like unless it's intermission, I don't leave my seat ever. If
Constantly.
no,
I
I
gotta go to the
can't.
bathroom and then I gotta get my,
Oh, yeah.
my
Oh,
drink and my
I'll
food
hold-
or whatever.
What I
Yeah.
do is since I've at least been legal age, I get a drink or I get a couple drinks and I put them under my seat so I'll always have a drink ready during the period. And then I take a piss during the intermission. I just can't, like, I hate when people are like trying to cut across me during the game. So I don't like being that person. So I always sit and when I'm at a sporting event, I'm glued to the game. Like I can be the most boring person to go to a game with sometimes because I just don't talk because I'm focused on just watching the game and analyzing every little thing that happens in it, even like a WHL game. Because I'm
I
just
get that. You're enjoying it.
yeah. I love going to games though. Like the atmosphere,
Yeah,
like
no.
being around people like that in just the
Yeah, no,
feeling of it is
like that
all.
when it comes to watching games. Like actually at the game, I'll definitely be there the whole period unless they like actually have to piss or something.
Oh, I'll piss
The
myself
only
before
time
I
I'm
get up
leaving
in the middle of
during
an
the
intermission.
The only time I'm leaving during a period is like late at the end of the period, and I want to go get food so I can
Yeah,
actually get
okay,
back
yeah.
before
If-
the next period starts.
if it's like nothing happening in first period or like one team's blowing it out, it's
Yeah.
like yeah, okay,
'Cause, like, you
I'll get an early beer so I'm not standing in line the whole second intermission.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can watch the game walking around up top usually in some
True.
places.
I just don't like missing anything because I've seen like there's been a couple times where I went to like whether it was like oh my god, what are old players alumni games? Jesus Christ. Like I'll go to alumni games and they'll do like some crazy ass breakaway goal and I wasn't paying attention. They scored. Like I remember going to a London Knights alumni game and Robbie Schrempf like was on a 2-on-1 and he flipped the puck up in the air to himself and batted it out of midair and put it top corner. And I missed
Wow.
that. Like I've seen the highlights after now, but like I was at the game and I missed it because I just was not paying attention or something.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like
That's
I'm gonna miss every cool thing ever. And I don't
Yeah.
so I pay attention at any moment. So that might be that might be why
When it comes to
It'll
like
reward
NHL,
ya.
when it comes to like NHL games, I'm definitely watching the whole thing. I ain't missing anything if it's an NHL game. But yeah, no.
See, and
it looks
I'm
like a
so
Doug game or anything else
I'm
like
so
that, like, I don't
intrigued
care
to see
that
these
much.
young
Like,
kids, like who's gonna be the next like NHL player, like legit NHL player. I love trying to look for that. So, but no, let's ease off of me watching the game and get into some actual games to talk about. Do you want to kick it off, Chase? Do you have any games to discuss?
Well, I can talk about my Wings quick because we beat the Blues, and I thought I was super proud of that. Like, wow,
nice. Raymond scoring in that too, so always nice.
Oh yeah, the only reason we win games is because he shows up and gets
him
a
and
point
Sider
in the first period,
changed
and we're all like,
your
yes,
team.
We can do it.
Him and Sider changed everything about your team. Well, and Nedeljkovic too. I think he's been a huge part, but.
I like honestly, and like I've said even before, like I don't think you can even like Bernier played crazy good last year.
He did play crazy good.
We just had no team. Like
you were not going to get a better player in net than Bernier last year.
No,
he was too good last year.
It's hard to feel great about how like how he's doing, how Ned's doing, just because of that fact. Like,
the team's bad, awesome. But that's where I can see it though. Like he's keeping them in games.
Exactly. Hey,
that's the biggest thing. Like what year was it? 2 years ago that. Probably 70 of the games you weren't in it at all.
Yeah.
and
we had no idea where our goaltending was.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the end of the Jimmy Howard age and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
So and at least
I had to like literally get a new goalie in.
Yeah, and at least Nedeljkovic is like, what is he, 25? So
yeah, exactly. Hey,
like he's young, he's still got lots of time
up against the Blues. So.
Yes. So
yeah, super good.
Anyways,
good. Dive
into it.
He's been solid, man. Like I said a couple weeks ago, he really looked like he settled in that one game, and it's really starting to show. Hey, like holy,
yes, for sure.
But either way, Larkin, man, I'm really starting to get the feels for this guy.
He's good, man.
Really might be becoming a little bit more than I guess we all because we all hoped he would be so great.
Because
right? We all kind of hoped he would be so great, but like it's not really like it was. For sure, that's who he is, sort of thing. The last
I had years, pretty high expectations his first 2 or 3 years in the NHL.
I think you can bring those high expectations back. Is what I'm getting at. I don't know if he's going to do it, but you know,
I'm going to wait till the end of the year. But I'm not saying no at all.
Exactly.
Give me a bit more time of him doing this, and I'll be like, yeah, absolutely, he could be a number one center.
I'm so excited for this guy in the Olympics. He's gonna love that, and I hope he flourishes because that's what he needs to make him even better to really take that next step. The Olympics is a big tool for Larkin here, so nothing but great things coming out of him. The guy's got 10 goals, man. It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Weird us getting stats. That's actually strange. Like I don't know if you listened to our start of the year and stuff, and the stats I was spitting out about these teams and their offense is like holy crap, it's just completely different. These guys in like Anaheim, like just
there's a couple teams
not even close.
Columbus as well.
Yeah, they actually score. Hey,
a lot actually. They actually scored quite a bit compared.
People were ripping
60 goals
for sucking the life out of all these players and all that stuff.
People are kind of right.
Sorry,
seems right.
Production. Oh yeah, definitely. He was not
clearly
he was like Babcock, you know. He's not there to help you get mad points or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like Datsuk and Zetterberg were never gonna get 100 points because they didn't play that style of game.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even play you enough to do that.
No, it's crazy.
Playing Dano for his last 1,500 games, so whatever.
Sorry, I'm just let me cut it. Sorry, just let me cut in on this with Columbus while we were on the topic. For goals for, they are 10th in the NHL. That's really good for Columbus.
The old Cole Sillinger, man, is
nice,
even
dope.
just
the only player left from this previous draft who's still in the NHL.
Yeah, big old Boom Jenner just sniping Genos all the time, man. Like throw the C on his chest and call it a day. Hey,
I love Boone Jenner. He's so
Nick Foligno.
So you don't have any more on the Detroit Blues game you want to bring up?
No, I just wanted to talk about a couple guys there.
Just a couple guys. Okay. Jordan, I'll throw it to you. Do you have any games that you were able to watch?
Yeah, the Caps win over Montreal.
Oh boy, yeah, we can we'll both talk about this because I got
Yeah.
my stuff on the Habs I talked about too, but pile back on.
I'll start this off. Do you guys? I don't know if you guys got this stat chilling, but he's like a goal or so away from this power play goal record that Dave Vanderchuk has.
Who is
Ovi?
Ovi? Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's
That's
he's
sweet.
like one goal away, so he's on the verge of.
Not surprised. He's like he's been the best power play scorer of all time, if not the best scorer in the NHL of all time.
He will be soon enough because he will top Andrechuk pretty soon here. That's for sure.
And next will be Gretzky. But sorry, Jordan, continue with the Habs and Washington game.
No, it was just a goal fest.
That's why I was saying just pile on if anything.
Yeah. It's nice to see Caulfield bag one.
Yeah.
Especially on his return back to the NHL.
Yeah, in the second game.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's not like he didn't. I'll tell you one thing: he definitely didn't do anything against Pittsburgh when we played them. Had one shift where I noticed him on the ice. Caulfield, that is.
Someone I was worried about on the ice every time was Schultzy.
Schultz? Oh, really?
Yeah, I was really disappointed in his performance against Montreal.
At least it's against Montreal.
Yeah, at least against Montreal.
He's probably a better defenseman than any Habs defenseman, too.
Yeah.
So no, it's not looking good in Montreal. Things are really rough, but I've got some things on them because I got a couple headlining topics to bring up that I'll talk about. But I'll jump into the two quick games with Pittsburgh. I'll quickly go through them. So first was the Jets, and the Jets are good, man. Jets are real good. But they gave up in the third period, and Jari played well, so Pittsburgh won 2-1. Crosby's starting to figure it out, but he's still, you can definitely tell he had surgery on his wrist. His passing isn't as crisp. His shot isn't
he's still
as
coming
accurate.
Back from all that COVID shit.
Yeah, the protocol stuff, like there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, so it's not easy, but he's starting to find his way. Pittsburgh
I
needs...
think people are jumping the gun on Crosby.
Oh, for sure.
He'll just need some time, right? Because like you said, it was surgery that he had, plus
on his wrist that's been injured for 7 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
right? Like, we lost, 23 to 26 from Crosby, like, at his age?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. Essentially, with the concussions and everything. He was gone half a season. I'm pretty sure he's missed half of a season, like, 2 times at least. So at least close to half has been a lot. So yeah, no, he's always bounced back. I'm not too worried about Sid, but our defense needs to be better at defending counters, because oh boy, we let a lot of chances go. We lose a lot of games to off the rush goals because our defense just kind of gets lost. So I kind of want them to tighten that up. But yeah, Hellebuck, he didn't look like super focused. He kind of looked like he was daydreaming on a goal, on one of the goals that won the game, but he's
been like that this year.
He's been a little bit. He's been solid still.
It was the same thing against Columbus.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he definitely does seem to either
zone
be
out
there superly, or
he's either the best in the league or he's just kind of daydreaming.
Yeah, and even when he's daydreaming, is pretty decent. Yeah, the team does that. I would say it's more the team.
Like it is the team as well that does that. Like they
kind of just puck
some
watch.
Weird. Yeah, like I had a good explanation, kind of how it kind of goes for those. Like it is strange with that team because they are doing all
very
the things
talented.
Right. They're not doing anything wrong or anything like that. It's not that they're not creating chances, but like the actual will, and like it's almost like they go into a game and they're like, "This will work. Like this script, all we have to do is make these plays. Yeah. It'll go in." Hey.
And then they autopilot too much.
But it's just too autopilot.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's just the goals aren't going in because
you're not moving their feet fast enough
or something like that.
It's as simple as like taking an extra stride that they don't do. Like that might change. That could change like a lot of their lax looking play if they gave an extra stride every shift. That's it. Like an extra hard push.
But this is a good team problem.
It's a good team.
That's
yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good team
here for old Winnipeg, having a great teams problem.
They've kind of always had that issue though of being like a little lazy at times, or like giving up on themselves really quick in a game where like, oh, the puck's not going in, it's not our night, and they'll just kind of like float around the ice. They're kind of doing that against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you'll watch like a period and you'll be like, yeah, nobody's scoring more than 3 goals in this game.
And it's not necessarily them being like floating and letting in like 5 goals. It's just like they'll let up like 3 chances. If Hellebuck's not focused, 1 will go in or something. And then they just don't have the energy or hunger to get a goal back. That's just what it seemed like in that game, at least. And then sliding over to the Pittsburgh-Vancouver game, oh my god. Vancouver's, I mean, I know we're beating a dead horse right now, but Vancouver's bad. They're a very talented team that has no mental state and heart, it seems like. It's the best way I can describe it. They're in a scoring drought, a lot of their players, right? It seems they're kind of focused, so upset about their scoring drought that they're trying too hard to score, that they forget there's actually a defensive side of the game. Because there's many rushes against Pittsburgh where they were really solid, they made some great passes, they just couldn't finish. Or wouldn't finish, frankly, wouldn't take the shot or something. And then we would come right back 2-on-1 every time with a stretch pass. Like, they get beat off the rush because their defense is kind of alone and not the greatest in the first place. So,
yeah, their dynamic on defense is not exactly.
It's not wonderful.
Balanced.
No, not at all. Like, it's a lot of different pieces from different puzzles in it.
Myers is a more leaning offensive 2-way guy. Same with Larson.
I don't know about Larson as much anymore. Hughes for sure is offensive. I was watching Larson play, and he's good defensively. He's really solid defensively. He does not have his offensive game back that he had a couple of years ago in Arizona. And it's not that I wonder. I don't know if he'll ever get it back.
It hasn't.
But I don't know if you need him to. Why are you trying to bring out an Ekman-Larsson when he's a good defenseman? Like, he knows how to defend. He was a number 1 defenseman. He may not be a number 1 defenseman anymore, but he can definitely man a second line for the next 3-4 years. And everyone complains about his contract and how terrible of a trade that was. But Garland's been their best forward. And Ekman-Larsson's probably been their best defenseman, actually. Thinking back, Quinn Hughes has not looked great.
Oh, I would think so, actually. Like, just kind of how it's been playing out. It's not like Hamonic or Pullman or the guys you notice all the time or something. Yeah, like playing. It is
exactly
mainly OEL.
So
and Myers has been pretty damn good, actually. Honestly, it's been okay this year, but
yeah, it's
obviously the team has not been anything.
Like but Demko's been sick too. Like, he was so good against Pittsburgh. He made some amazing saves. Like, if I wasn't paying attention, just listening, I bet for half of either the first or the second, I can't remember which one it was. For half of it, I heard the announcer going, "Oh, another great save by Demko, and another save by Demko." Yeah. Like, it was constant.
Demko, despite the performances by the Canucks, Thatcher Demko consistently, night in and night out, will stand on his head no matter what.
How about this? I have a question for you. Is he the best player on a bad team right now?
Yeah.
Probably is, hey? Like, if we're talking from Vancouver down in the standings, it's Vancouver, Seattle, Islanders, Montreal, Arizona, Ottawa. That's kind of crazy. Ottawa's in last, but like, he's probably the best of anyone on any of those teams right now. At least he's outperforming his own team as the goalie, and they still can't win.
The team.
Like, that's what worries me about this team, is he's been so good, but they still don't win.
That rift with like JT Miller there.
Yeah, that's bad too.
That scares the hell out of me. Like, that's he is the team and has been the team, and whether people like to think it or not, he has been the team ever since he got there.
I've been hearing a rumor out there about Vancouver and a player, and this player comes up in rumors all the time, but this is the first time I'm actually looking and saying maybe it would be best if they moved him. What if they moved Brock Besser?
I don't. Oh man,
it doesn't like. I know it sounds weird to think that, but he doesn't fit how they play whatsoever at all. He looks lost every time.
From what I've been hearing, it seems like Bo Horvat is the one that they're shopping a bit more.
That would be crazy to do too.
Yeah.
Well, you could get a king's ransom
True.
for Bo Horvat.
You could $5.5 million, 2 more years, captain, big, strong.
He's also a captain, so like guaranteeingly you trade your captain like always, right?
Yeah, I just don't like that direction. Don't like that direction, Vancouver.
Oh no, I don't like it at all, but let's be serious. We'll be hitting that Jim Benning era pretty soon. I'll go off on how much I like. They really ruined this, and like it wasn't a lot of bad moves or anything like that. It was just simple moves here and there that brought him to a team where all of a sudden we're talking about Bozer or somebody needing to be traded because this doesn't work.
Well, and
I don't know.
The reason I bring up Besser is because the other guys, like, you don't want to get rid of a personnel like Bo Horvat or JT Miller. That's not the type of guys you get rid of on this team. It's the guys who aren't trying and you make an example of. Besser, to me...
What I was going to say is that JT Miller has to be safe in this team. He
has to be. If they trade him... Yeah, if they trade him, they have to go full rebuild. That's the only way...
Does he want to be the
locker room leader?
Yep. Well,
if you want to be there, that sounds like the real issue right now. If he even wants to be there.
Yeah, I have two. There's two directions I feel like they could or / should go. One, make one not major trade, but like decent trade to shake up the team and show, hey, we're not afraid to trade anyone. Which that's where like names like Besser kind of come up. Probably Pearson is in that boat if you can get a good trade back for him, but I don't see that happening. So
yeah, that's all but done now.
Yeah,
I don't. But from what I understand, when I look back at Jim Benning's tenure, like, dude, the guy, if he doesn't get what he wants for something, he just doesn't do a deal.
Yeah,
it won't take.
Well, he won't. Benning won't be there next year, anyways. So, I don't think. Yeah, anyways, there's no way.
Fully agree. I do fully agree with that. Look,
honestly, they need a whole internal shake-up there.
I wonder that because I love Travis Green as a coach, but I wonder if they need to get rid of him just to shake things up a bit and show.
Well, I agree.
But that's why I think of a trade too. Like, someone's gonna go and someone's got to go, and in my mind, you either trade someone like a Besser and try and be a quick turnaround, which I don't think is the greatest idea, I guess, to do a quick turnaround, or what is a better way to do. If you're really serious about shopping Horvat, trade Horvat, JT Miller, and another guy, and go into a full rebuild again.
Full rebuild, yeah.
Full rebuild. You trade, you probably keep Pettersson and Hughes, and those are the guys untouchable right now. And probably Pakolzin and Hoglander because they're 20. Those are guys you don't need to trade.
God, would that be just ugly again?
It would be ugly, but look at where they are now. Do you see it going up with this team? They have no right-handed center. Yeah. Not to where they need to be, though. They're mediocre. They need to be better than mediocre.
I'm very confused. I feel like they're doing what Calgary did to us the last couple of years or something. Guys are way better than this. Why aren't you playing actual hockey?
Yeah.
Because that's basically what happened to Calgary. I fully agree with the Travis Green thing. Because, just let the guy go. He's been there for a few years already. It's not like you just brought him in and just said screw it, he has been there for a couple of years. You gave him a good shot. He really hasn't handled it very well, or else this team would be doing better in the last couple of years. You do it so then it wakes people up. It does change things. You need a new voice in the locker room. You got to do everything you can outside of trading people, because that's where it gets dicey.
Now, the biggest issue with that is, though, internally, and I'm not saying that I agree with it, but it's their money. Owners don't want to shell out contracts for 2 GMs and 2 head coaches, and probably a whole bunch of assistants that it may get fired. That's a lot of money you're paying to fire guys because when their contracts, I believe, are up this year. I'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah, some sort of random something needs to happen. One of those guys needs to walk in. They all need to get a brand new attitude or something like that. Because, This is just weird. EP 40 and
22-23 is Jim Benning. Is when his contract's up, and Travis
Green. Pedersen's got to get going.
That's a player horrible. Who really needs to. Okay, Travis Green's up this year, this offseason.
I don't want to judge Pedersen too.
He's been I think it's time.
Because if he does start doing well, or sorry, I meant the team. I don't want to judge the team too terribly, because once Pedersen actually gets going, maybe that just everybody else plays a little bit better. Everybody gets that random crap out of their brain. They play
for sure
with a little bit more oomph in their step or something like that. It's always nice when your big guys
show up.
Yeah, when your big guys show up
in any capacity. I didn't notice Pedersen more than half a dozen times in a game against Pittsburgh. Dude, that should not happen with your first line center.
They've been playing him on the fourth line and stuff.
What's that, Jordan?
Has Pedersen even played? That's where I'm at this point.
It seems like he hasn't. Not on the ice. He's uneventful. And I watch his face and everything. He takes a shot. He took a shot where he did 2-on-1 and was directly into Jari's glove. You couldn't have placed that better into his glove if he then just walking up and placing it in his hand. So, and his face after was again. It was you can't have that mentality. You gotta just keep going and keep fighting to get that goal. Sometimes all you need is one or two in a game, and a game where you all play well. That's all you need sometimes to turn it around.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta get on the ice and feel super light. Sometimes you step on that ice and you start skating around and you feel
half or two a step better,
stronger, and you're just
floating across. Yeah, that you're just flying everywhere.
Because that is who he is. He is a Datsuk. He is a fly around, float around, dance around sort of player that just controls the ice when he's on the ice. That's the thing. I've been watching these power plays. I've been watching he is not.
He's not controlling.
Got
play.
No confidence or what?
It doesn't seem like it at all. I don't. How can you say you do when he's playing like he does? And we know how he can play. This isn't some random high prospect rookie sophomore coming out of his second year.
This is Tyler Seguin not playing again.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. Is Pedersen to Seguin? Seguin's been probably one of the most gifted players in the NHL, probably top 20 if you're saying raw talent for 10 years. But he's never been a Stamkos level when Stamkos was getting
when you thought
60.
He was going to blow up,
he just didn't.
Got hurt and didn't do anything and just started slowing down and never
that's
even close to bringing you the points. Exactly.
But he had so much hype of being this elite game-changing number one center, which you see. You see flashes of Seguin doing that, just same as Pedersen. You
just
Pedersen
don't see
doing
the production out of Seguin that you always thought.
Yeah,
he would.
He's also in a different system that doesn't work for the way he plays, so that's another portion of it. But
and that's the other thing. What is the Vancouver system? A lot of people saying.
Yeah, I don't know what they have as a system. They don't.
But one thing is it's a decent change, I guess. Bringing in Garland, Ekla.
I love Garland.
Their whole bottom six is completely different. They've been screwing around with Gaudette and all these other random guys for quite a few years, and now they just don't have any of those guys. Tyler Mott's the only guy left from the last.
I like Tyler Mott.
10 years.
He's a really good penalty killer for this team. He just fits on this team. I don't know why. I've seen him on a couple of teams, and he just not look good until here.
Is this how important Brandon Sutter is? In the locker room every day,
probably
sort of guy. Is that what we're truly missing? And not only just PK, obviously. That is just absolutely murdering
the PK
them.
is the worst I've ever.
Just the special teams in general on this team suck.
Yeah,
just
they do
royally fucking suck.
It's what the hell, man? What the hell?
I'm just bringing up the power play
Seattle's
percentage
starting to look better than you now.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Lowest power play percentage. Wow, Pittsburgh just jumped up right after that fucking Vancouver game. That's hilarious.
Yeah, 24th.
That's not great
in power play.
Not
31st in shooting percentage, everybody. So that's promising. That's the most promising stat I've seen, is that you're second last in shooting percentage.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these days you guys are just going to start putting pucks in the net. Maybe things will turn around. Maybe everybody's getting snake bitten, you know?
Yeah. No, that could be. I don't know. I look at the bottom six. I don't like it. I don't think they're strong enough.
Ninth in shots.
I'd be curious to see how many hits they have per game.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's not really
I don't know. I'm pretty sure. Well, it's just, I know it's not like a stat that you're like super encouraged about, but I bet it's so extremely low.
I mean, you know what?
Take it down.
Show effort, and that is a big
That's
thing.
exactly where I'm at.
The body, they're playing the puck and they're getting to it.
Yeah, exactly. You're actually skating to that area and then following your check.
Floating.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and when they're not scoring, you gotta
do something.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's a big thing, right? Is if you notice that, like, for example, if you are somebody who's typically a good scorer and you're not scoring, you gotta lean on something else for a bit until you get that touch back. Especially if you are a good player.
Yeah, absolutely. I
don't
know.
They need to strategically change things up. Like, they gotta do a different game plan. Because, obviously, defensively, this is not working at all. Like, they
need a lot change. Yeah.
Constantly, like,
I think there's a lot going on. And this Travis Hamonic stuff going on doesn't help at all. Not that, like, he's kind of screwing them with, like, not being able to play half the time. I mean, I don't even know if he's gotten his second dose yet. Like, or what's going on with that, because he had an exemption to not get it early because of a family illness or something. And now he's not playing, but they wanted him to play with Quinn Hughes all year and be a top guy. And they paid him all this money. I get it. He's buried the cap, some of it, I guess. But, like, I don't know. It's just not looking good, eh? Like, everything seems to be going wrong with this team. And
yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of different ways to change it, but there's a lot of answers why you can't do that.
Yeah,
can't make a trade because you're gonna lose betting.
This could all be boiling down because of just the moves that have been made, and the team just looks at, like, well, you guys just keep filling gaps and, like, doing stuff. This OEL,
just rebuild
was fine and all, but, like, it's just the other areas were just filling gaps and letting guys walk, or just if you actually look at his trade history, it is just minor leaguer for minor leaguer, or some random prospect for some other prospect, or some older guy or something,
or a pick for a mid-20-year-old.
Exactly. Just throw a pick away for just some guy.
The amount of picks he's thrown away is ridiculous. He's thrown a lot of picks away. So no, I don't know. There's a lot to change on this team. We could talk about this team for an hour. I think we should close off with that, hey? And just
I agree. There's more to say about this team than there is that's good.
Yeah, we just need to wait and see what they do, and stop telling them what they should do, and wait and see what they're gonna do, because there's no answer and no solution, it seems.
Well, it's exactly that. I think at this point we're past should they fire Travis Green and more at who's going to replace him, because something needs to change.
And it's the who's going to be there next year, not even this year, because they'll keep him all year. They're not spending the money to fire him this year and pay out his contract when he's done at the end of the season. They just won't re-sign him. So no, I don't know, or he'll resign or something like that. Something of the sort will happen. But
the pressure could ramp up. Who knows?
Bring back Torts, show him how to defend.
I'd like Claude Julien to go in.
That's what a lot of people are saying, actually. I'm hearing that, or Bruce Boudreau is another name I've heard out there, but I don't know. I feel like they might need to get a young coach.
Bruce would do good with a team like that.
Wouldn't hate it.
They're almost in a Minnesota Wild sort of standpoint. Like, he really helped that team become like a ridiculously good regular season team.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you should go with a younger coach, give a chance, because you've gone with the guy who you think will work and hasn't. I don't think this team is going to be good enough ever to make any sort of noise until they either Pettersson becomes like a legit superstar, and that being with like a Besser or a Hoglander, a Podkolzin, whoever it is, and then JT Miller and Horvat still being your heart and soul. But like, I don't know, I just don't see a direction where his team goes up enough to be relevant anymore.
Yeah. I think there's lots of hope. It's gonna have to fall the right way in the next couple of years for this to really get you feeling like they're gonna win a cup in the next few years.
Everything needs to piece together perfectly for that to happen.
Like it kind of scary.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, let's move off Vancouver before we keep talking about them. So I'm gonna bring up some teams in playoffs a little bit. I know it's early, but it's American Thanksgiving. So I know the season started late and you could probably push it back to like December 1st, but we're going to do it today because it's my podcast and we can do whatever we want. What they say is 80% of teams that are in a playoff spot stay in a playoff spot.
75.
So, okay, sorry, 75, whatever. 75, it's 5% difference. It's not that much.
That's a big difference.
It's like one team, dude. It's like one or two extra teams could sneak in. So,
tell that to like the Rangers or something, man. Won that Laffy pick.
Yeah. But that was also like the craziest season in NHL history. But whatever. I'm gonna list the teams that are in a playoff spot right now, and you guys tell me two of the teams you think that will drop, and let's say you have to pick two teams in each East and West. Two teams you drop, two teams you pull up, because that's the average player teams that'll change in playoffs, okay? So I got in the East, Metro, first place, Carolina, Washington, New York, top three, Atlantic, Florida, Toronto, Tampa, wild card, Columbus, and Pittsburgh.
Columbus
nice. Is the first wild card right now.
Boys.
They're doing sick.
That's beautiful.
With Detroit, Boston, New Jersey following Pittsburgh. Pretty close.
Yeah.
And Philly.
That's a pretty easy one for me. Definitely taking Columbus out of there.
For sure. So who do you put in? Boston, I presume?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's that one's probably more obvious. So Jordan, do you do that, I presume?
Yeah, I'd probably do that. I might put Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's got that last spot anyway.
Pittsburgh's got the last spot, so
okay.
They're in the wild card race. So now that I've already listed, we all say Columbus for Boston because that just makes the most sense. Now
the hard one.
Yeah, the hard one. Carolina, Washington, New York, Florida, Toronto, Tampa, or Pittsburgh. Which one do you take out for anyone in the East? This is one where
I'm taking the Rangers, man. I'm still sticking by the Rangers missing the playoffs because there's one team that I know very well with their players. Somebody's going to get hurt for half the season because that's just how they've been forever.
So, I completely agree. That's something that I've stood by is that Chris Kreider will not keep up this pace.
Yeah, God, no.
He has been so good. And
no way. He's making that Olympic team.
I don't see it continuing.
Yeah, no, I agree. So who would you change the Rangers up for then? I'll list a couple of teams that are like right around there. So there's Detroit in the third of the wild card, Boston 4, obviously, New Jersey 5, Philadelphia 6, Buffalo 7, Islanders 8, Montreal, Ottawa in the last two in the East.
I'd probably say the Devils.
I like that. I like that. That's a decent team to throw out there.
Well, if
they definitely look decent,
just gonna play like he's been playing in the league for the last 4 or 5 years, I don't see why not. And if Hughes comes back and actually plays real hockey, like maybe he'll take after Mercer and be like, oh, maybe I should play like this.
I don't know. He's been really good. He was just injured. He just dislocated his shoulder, Hughes.
No, he definitely looked a lot better this year for sure.
He looked
very good, honestly.
He looked good last year too. The puck just wasn't going in.
I just not that's sold with him yet. He just looked way better than he has been this year. So if he can keep that up, this team is definitely so dangerous, especially with Dougie, man. Dougie's really helped that defense.
Andreas Janssen quietly having an unbelievable season as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Chase, who do you take the Rangers out then? For
man, I can't even believe I even think this, but I want to say the Islanders just because of God,
because of
why?
who they are. Can I give you a stat that probably a lot of people haven't noticed? The Islanders have lost the last 7 games they've played.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's for a good team.
I know. That's why I don't want to say this because they're just getting destroyed by injuries. Absolutely.
Again.
When they come back from the road trip, they're just everything falls apart.
It's
and
been
when they're supposed to go positive, it went the opposite way.
They have not looked good in their new arena thus far.
Yeah,
not once.
Hardly had half the players.
Yeah, they've missed a lot of players too.
Half those players haven't even played in the flipping or they played one game and got hurt. So honestly, I can't put the Islanders in because it seems like straight they got the bad juju. And when I was mad at myself for putting them in the playoffs, I gave them the last wild card spot simply because of it's the Islanders. They'll find a way to get there.
They always squeeze their fucking in.
But it looks like the world's shooting them in the foot and then shooting them in the other foot, making sure they can't walk. So, I don't think I can kick the Rangers out now. I don't know.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. No, that's fair. If you genuinely can't, I'm gonna kick the Rangers out as well, just because they're the most logical team. If you had asked me Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago, I might have said Pittsburgh to stay out. But I'm not ever gonna bet against them. But yeah,
I really do kind of believe in this Islanders team because I hope this forces them to play a different way and brings out a little bit more out of their players.
They won't do that. Are you kidding? It's Lou.
I know.
Nice try.
Trots and stuff like that, but you guys are gonna have to figure something out,
I don't think they do. Can they not just have a bad season for 1 year? Hear me out. The Islanders, what if they're just not good this year? Get a decent draft pick, get healthy, make the playoffs and win the cup next year. Yeah, they've been in the conference finals 2 years in a row and lost to the cup champion. They have been right there.
And that was a COVID season the 1 year, bubble, all that crap. That must have drained the crap out of the guy. That was straight up.
And they went through good players. They went through good teams too. They beat Boston that year, I'm pretty sure. They beat
the cup winner.
Yeah,
times.
So yeah,
I can fully agree. Maybe they're chilling
maybe they just missed for a year.
Canadians,
Yeah.
It's just
I think Canadians are a complete different boat, but
no, as in you went so
hangover,
far it's just so draining, and you're getting the boot down afterwards,
Yeah, I wonder that. And
the old playoff hangover or the losing the Stanley Cup hangover sort of thing. So maybe that's what they've got going because they have absolutely no luck. But the only other team that I'd actually pump tires on is Philadelphia because for how weird they play and how they do, if they actually get their crap together, watch out for that team. So if I was to take the Rangers out, my team would be Philly, I think, right now.
So do you take the Rangers out or do you not? You've changed your mind 3 times.
No, I'm not changing my
mind. Okay.
I'm just saying, as in, if I was to take the Rangers out, my Philadelphia would probably be the only.
Okay, well, I'll jump in then.
The other team.
Because that's the team I was going to bring up, was Philly. That's the team I put in. I don't believe in this Philadelphia team. I'd actually lean more towards the Rangers staying in over Philly. But because Chase said that, I'm going to pick Philly just because. Giroux's having a really good season. Kevin Hayes is back and looking pretty decent. I like Carter Hart's look good. Martin Jones has looked good. Oh my god, they made Martin Jones look like an NHL goalie again. I didn't think I'd see that. I don't know. I like the makeup of a lot of this team. I just still don't like this defense at all. I shouldn't say at all. I really like Ryan Ellis, but he's injured, so that doesn't help. I really don't care for Ristolainen. I think he's one of the most overrated right-handed defensemen in the NHL. Provorov, he's good, but he's not the guy to trust your whole decor around yet. I don't know. I just don't have full faith in him. But if I were to put him in, because Carter Hart's playing great, their offense clicks pretty well when they feel like it. Cam Atkinson trades look good. Sean Couturier is on this team. Like, they got a really good blend of this forward group. So,
yeah.
So I see a lot of happening. So let's move into the West now and do the exact same thing pretty much. So started off in the Central. We got Minnesota first, St. Louis second, Winnipeg third, Pacific, Calgary, Edmonton, Vegas. And then wild cards are Anaheim and Colorado, with San Jose and Nashville right on Colorado's tail. So, what's the first team you kick out? Me asking.
I'm going with Anaheim.
Yeah, me asking, knowing the answer probably if you're kicking one out, if you have to. So, Who do you change Anaheim for? We got San Jose at the third wild card, Nashville, LA, Dallas, Chicago, Vancouver, Seattle, Arizona.
Dallas is for surely my shoe-in to get in the playoffs.
Interesting. Yeah. You still have complete faith in Dallas?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that makes one of us on this podcast now. Unless Jordan cut. Jordan, you don't have? No. You said no. I'm pretty sure last time. So yeah. So that makes one of us in faith in Dallas. I'm gonna bring up mine quick because I'm gonna cheat a little bit on my own rules, and I'm not gonna change a single team. I'm gonna change maybe placements. Like Colorado will be higher than Anaheim in the standings, but I like this Anaheim team. I want them to make playoffs. They're an exciting team. I love Drysdale. Love Zegras. I love Getzlaf too. Like, he's just still lighting it up. Love that. So just because I like those teams and everyone involved and the teams I would take out are playing too good, I don't think you can change much other than Anaheim's the only team maybe you do change. But I'll throw it over to Jordan. Is there any team or at all that you change, and for who?
Maybe bring in Chicago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At 6-11 right now, that's really bold. That's really bold. 6-4 in their last 10.
Patrick Kane, they got Jonathan Taves.
Can I tell you their goal difference quick? As they are, I believe, second. They're second last in the West, and it's a -21.
Yeah.
So that's.
But keep in mind, one of those goaltenders is Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah.
We do know how good Marc-Andre Fleury
is. Future Edmonton Oilers goalie at the deadline, but yeah.
Exactly. so okay. It's bold, but I think if I had to take a bit of a bold pick, it'd be Chicago.
Over Anaheim, I presume?
Yeah, over Anaheim.
Okay. The other team I'm going to throw out there, since we kind of only have one, unless Chase, you have another team you would take out, but I feel like you don't. The teams are too good. Maybe Minnesota, but they're in first, so it's kind of hard to take.
I know, that's the thing. They're hard to take anybody out, but it would be one of those top two teams.
Yeah, Calgary and Minnesota.
Or Calgary.
Which is crazy.
I'd lean maybe towards Calgary, but
I don't know if I'd take either out.
Do that,
yeah.
But I don't know.
I have a team's tires I can pump a little
on this spot right here, but I almost would lean more Minnesota if I was to take another team out, but
I don't think they will.
That's just because they let in so many goals.
They do.
That's the only thing I have against them that can really bite them in the ass.
And they're having issues with Fiala right now too. So personal issues with Fiala.
It sounds like they're looking for trades, so I don't see them slowing down because they will make a move, it seems, first before anybody.
And Bill Guerin will not make a move if it's not the right move for them.
Yeah.
If it's not going to make the team better, he's not going to make the move. I know that much about Bill Guerin.
Yeah. And when you have Ryan Hartman being the best contract in the NHL,
he's been so good this year. Marcus Foligno just being outstanding as well. But no, I'll throw out one other quick team in the West. I'll pump their tires, and that's the LA Kings. I don't think they're good enough to squeeze into a playoff spot. I just like the way they're playing. I love Adrian Kempe right now. Oh my God, he seems everywhere. He looks like he's been everywhere on the ice. Yeah, 12 points, 7 goals in 19 games. That's been really good. He's just.
It's
You
like
know
either
who he
him or
reminds?
LA just lighting it up. Hey, like one of those
Yeah.
two guys is doing super good on LA. Like if you're watching an LA game, one of those two guys is going to be having a good game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why, but yeah, it's so cool.
So I'm just I like this team. I like what this team's going to become in the future. Sean Durzi scored his first NHL goal against the team that drafted him, the Leafs. That was great. I think they got issues to fix in the future, for sure, but they're not supposed to be good yet. If they squeezed in, I wouldn't be surprised. They got a good enough team. They play I like the way they play. They just let the puck in a lot too. Speaking of that,
yeah. Talk about. It's funny, but I think Vancouver fans are looking at LA and wishing they still had their boy Edler back.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He's a number one D man right now. And
yeah,
he's probably helping their PK, and he's this, that, and the other thing.
He's still an NHL player.
I did not expect this out of him when it came to those two guys getting hurt, and Walker and Doughty. This was. I knew he would have to step up, but to be able to step up this fat is pretty epic, man.
Yeah, for sure. But I've heard a lot
He's been around, and he's been the defense on Vancouver for a long time. Like they
for
really have not had very many people or anybody that whole time that was like actually better than them. We may have thought Myers was better than him, but
oh god, no.
Probably not. No.
There's not one time in my entire life I've ever watched Tyler Myers play and thought he was better than Alex Edler. Not one time.
He's probably supposed to be better than him.
I don't know. I don't know what it is about Myers, but I've never really thought he was that great and thought he was overrated because he's huge. Yeah, everyone's like, he's like 6'6", 6'7", played with Dustin Byfuglien. Yeah, of course you're gonna have
worst contract he signed.
Yeah,
I'd look good with Dustin Byfuglien if I was 6'6".
Well, and when you have two huge guys like that, and one of them's Dustin Byfuglien, you naturally assume, Tyler Myers is gonna be our next Byfuglien. Like he's huge, he's gonna learn from him. Like, how good is he gonna be? Well, he didn't learn any defensive part from Byfuglien, that's for sure. He clearly only watched the tape when Byfuglien was a winger. So, like, I don't know.
Myers is 6 foot. He may be 6'7", but in his head he's like 5'11".
Yeah, he skates like he's gonna like duck around everyone. It's like that guy that's just like too big for every doorway, and he like ducks under everything. So, but no, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of Tyler Myers. But back to the Edler thing, quick. I've heard a lot of Vancouver fans say that they would rather have kept Edler than make that OEL trade.
Especially the way it's looking right now.
I don't disagree. I do disagree because Garland's a part of that trade, and if you don't get OEL, you don't get Garland.
Exactly.
So I think that's false. But I understand where they're coming from. Yeah, I understand where they're coming from. Edler, one more year of Edler, and then you have tons of cap for this offseason. That's great. With OEL, you got $7 million locked up on a second pairing defenseman. I get that's not ideal. But I still think people are harping on OEL too much. I think he's way better than people say he's been. But no, let's move on from that. Unless you guys have any other from those wild card discussion.
Honestly, like I hate saying this because this is like the worst shot in the dark in the world. But like I am not giving up on Seattle yet. Like I just can't. I can't yet. I don't know why.
That's somehow more bold than Jordan's Chicago take.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's obviously they've been just terrible, but
they're bad.
I don't know. I guess I've seen the last couple of games like they actually looked somewhat okay, but they're still not.
But they've always been that kind of way. They're never gonna dominate. They don't have anyone to dominate. Is the issue?
Yeah.
They are. They are what every team fears to be in being a mediocre team every year. Well, luckily for them, they're worse than that, but they play mediocre. All their guys are middle line guys that just aren't thriving in extended roles, unfortunately.
I'm not going to be surprised if like they actually start meshing and things start clicking and go well, like really well. Like I can still see that happening. Like
I can see them doing better.
Means that they can. that they can actually get to the playoffs. Like I think they're definitely not going to get there. They're going to be happy to be looking on the outside, like just so missing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think we'll be super happy with that. But
I wouldn't be as a fan personally, but I would want them to suck all year based on their start. If I know who's a Seattle fan, because they're brand new, but if you're a fan, you want this team to be bad all year now. You're at the point where there's no return to get playoffs, and if you do, it's the biggest miracle since St. Louis, but no, it's not going to happen. So you want to be a bottom 3 team if you're a Seattle fan. You want to.
Well, yeah, of course you do, but there's coaching and these players are not giving up or anything like that. So
it's where you trade.
I don't know. I'm not going to give up on them yet, just because things can go well and it can really turn around. This is a brand new team and everything. So I'll give them one last glorified wait on them just because I don't see why they can't play better than this.
I think they should sell. I think they should sell a couple of their players they got and get a king's ransom for a player like Jonas Donskoy or Yanni Gord.
Nobody would give you a 7th round pick for Jonas Donskoy right now.
At the deadline?
If there's one player on this team that I've just literally has been no help for this team, it's Jonas Donskoy. Absolutely.
Colorado would trade back for Donskoy. I don't know. He's not looked great, but I think it's jumping.
No, he needed to be a big piece of this, and he's been absolutely nothing towards a big piece of this team.
No, that's fair. He's definitely not stepped up. I mean, it's kind of different playing with Nathan McKinnon and then jumping to Yanni Gord's my first line center, but that's a little rough.
Yanni Gord and Nazem Kadri are a little bit similar. That you should be able to figure it out with a guy like Yanni Gord or
okay. Then I'll throw it to the defense. Then they don't have a Cale Makar. They don't have a Sam Girard of any sort. This defense is not dynamic.
Not as good as I thought it was at all.
They're all the same player, it seems just different sizes, with a few anomalies.
They're a lot more off.
They're a lot more offensive than I thought they would be, but they're not good at offensively.
And they play too offensively, in their own zone, and that Hayden Fleury can be real rough sometimes. Just puck management is brutal with some of those young defensemen, but
Vince Dunn was real good off start. He's been pretty poor late in the past.
Couple weeks. He can go ahead and get a point, but we know you let in 2 goals that game, so thanks, man.
The one player though I'm willing to give a full pass on with this team is Grubauer, because I think he's been quite decent.
He looks like he's actually doing good, right?
He's doing all right. I know he's not doing what he was last year, but he was on the best team in the league last year, literally.
He definitely has off games, but
he's off games,
forced to play him.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why they aren't playing Drieger. Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, he was hurt randomly.
Yeah, I guess, but they
just lit up.
Yeah, true. I guess that guy just looked at his goals.
That's the other thing.
A 4.78 and a 0.79 save percentage.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Bad.
They have no other goalie. That's the other issue with this team is they have no other goalie.
But know what?
Way to move.
I don't think it's the goaltending. Well,
I'm not saying it is the goaltending. I'm just say it's the reason they're failing is their goaltending. But when you don't have another goaltender to play, that's never.
Well, it's never good.
Much.
But look at how everyone was talking. Look how we were talking about Drieger in the offseason. We were talking he was going to be a number 1 this year. How he played in Florida.
Oh, I don't know. I hope I didn't say that.
We were definitely talking.
So good.
Yeah, but we were expecting.
I thought he'd be able to handle some decent minutes and play all right. It's weird that he's absolutely just. Not even a
remember us talking that he could have played 40 games and been very good and the better of those 40 games than the other.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We were all talking about that all off season. So a lot of these players we were pumping tires, and it's just not gelling. Is the thing. Morgan Geekie, I thought Morgan Geekie was going to be the William Karlsson of this team. And no, he's not.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. There's a couple players I like individual players on this team, but the team just doesn't work, I guess.
Yeah, I let out a little bit more rope just for the sake of it because they're new. That's all I'm trying to get at, honestly, is
Fair enough.
I gotta give them a little bit more rope. Let's pretend they're still new and they can, like Vancouver, turn this around.
yeah. Fair enough.
Jesus.
Fair enough.
You guys are 2 wins higher than Arizona. That's how bad you guys are.
Well, let me.
I'll end on that.
Yeah, we'll move on from Seattle, and I got a stat. Since you brought up Gord acting like Kadri, I don't think Gord has 25 points and a 10-game point streak right now, though. Like Kadri.
Type of player.
I know, I'm just busting your balls, but like Kadri this year is like outstanding is what I'm trying to get at.
Hell yeah, man.
I know
he was like, nobody was there for, like, everybody's been missing games. He's the only one that hasn't missed games, and he's been like
the best
team.
player. He's
Like
been
I
their
said,
best
like,
player this year.
several weeks ago. This is actually, I'm way more impressed with this Colorado team, and they haven't even had a full roster. Like, I didn't pump their tires this year and say they were going to be first. I thought they would have like a somewhat off year. I still had a third in the league, but like,
I still think they'll be first. Once their guys are back, second part of the season, I think they're just going to fly and just win.
No, it's just insane that, like, everybody, or not just everybody, there was just always somebody missing out of the lineup all year, and they just persevered. Kadri and Comfer were like the team, and then when Comfer went down, somebody else did. Like, if this team's healthy, this is going to be so scary. 8-1-1 in their last 10. Like,
they've been super good lately. They're starting to play how they normally play. Kel McCarr is lighting it up. The goaltending's playing pretty decent. Still letting in a little more goals than I would like from their team, but starting to work it out.
But when you don't play the third period half the time.
Yeah, I noticed that. Hey, they just are like, we're better than everyone.
The game's over.
It's over. Yeah.
So, yeah, whatever. We'll let in a goal.
So let in a couple of goals and just finish the game. But no, it's when they have, I don't know, they have 51 goals against. And I guess that's not that bad. Looking at the NHL, everyone's around that for the most part.
Yeah.
It's not too bad, but as a team who has that kind of a decor, I expect a little bit better. Oh my God, Carolina is so good. Oh my God. I just looked at their goals against. They have 36 goals against.
Yeah, them
and Calgary have 38. They're so good. Holy crap. I never noticed that, how good they were playing. But while we're on Calgary, can we take a note to talk about them? And how well they're playing and why? Because I'm sure a lot of people would be interested to hear about why this team is good, because everyone gave up on this team. Everyone, including us. What do you guys
was I giving up by just not having them in the playoffs?
That's giving up on this team. For what they're doing now, that's completely giving up, I would say.
I guess so.
Based on who's on this team and their roster constructed, if they don't make playoffs, it's a disappointing season. Even if they miss by a point, it's a failure of a season. So yes, I would say.
Yeah, I had them like just so on the outside looking in, but no, it's nice to see. Like, I've followed
they're a legit team
obviously for a long time, and it's so nice to see them come back to who they are. Like,
and Mangiapane being the second best goal scorer in the league this year with 15 in 20 games.
Yeah,
our third best goal scorer, I guess, because Draisaitl and Ovi.
Yeah, like the last couple of years, old Mangiapane and Dubé were getting those are super good seasoning years. Like,
yes,
I know.
Last year, Mangiapane was really good. Last year, he was so underrated last year for how he played.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I think those were two key like bad years for them, honestly, because like they could have done whatever they wanted to those 2 years. It wouldn't have happened. You needed to wait for Dubé and Mangiapane to kind of become more solidified players, and now that they're like this, you surround them with a Coleman.
Yeah, Coleman's look good there. Hey?
Top 9.
I like Coleman there. I criticized it a little bit off the start because I was like, that's a lot of money for a Blake Coleman, but like he's really fit well on this team, and I just love how he plays.
I even talked about how I thought this was going to be a good contract, and it never really clicked in that like maybe this brought the team back going. But I guess the problem is that I thought Vancouver was going to be good.
Yeah.
Now, if you would have told me that Vancouver was going to struggle, I would have completely flipped Calgary into my third spot, and I would have taken Vancouver out.
Yeah.
That is 100%. If somebody would have
I
told
would
me
have put
Vancouver's
Seattle
going to
in my third.
have a super rough season, or if they're going to fire their coach, or just some random future telling thing, I would have 100% taken or put Calgary in place of them, because I believe they would have a much better year. Because it's been just so weirdly, like, just a shift down from what y'all expect the last couple of years, other than like your man Giappani, and your young guys. So
I undervalued this team.
Shillington
needed
those
so
2
good.
years to just slowly beat out Valimaki, and now that he's now it's settled. Now it's settled. Like, Valimaki's probably out the door, and he's on the
I
team,
hear he's being traded. I'm hearing trade rumors with Valimaki. I looked at this decor though, and I was like, yikes. Chris Tanev is the only defenseman I trust on this team. That's it. And when you look at this, like, tell me you can't look at this team on paper and Vancouver's defense on paper at the start of the year and not said Vancouver's defense was way better.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that you didn't believe that. Like, you could definitely see holes in Vancouver's. There's way more holes it looked like in this decor, but guess not. I guess but Markstrom's been...
No, the defensive, like, you can have holes. Like, your defense looks really good, Vancouver, but you have defensive, like, not stalwart defensive when you look on paper. Exactly. When you look at Calgary, at least you can check all the boxes defensively. And in the game today,
I wouldn't have said that at the start of the year.
No,
would have disagreed 100% of the time at the start of the year. There's Chris Tanev who can defend.
All they have is the defensive defenseman, though.
But they can't. But they're bad defensive defensemen, is what I was getting at. The start. This is like, I'm just saying how I felt at this team about the start of the year. I thought Zadorov was gonna be
was the best.
Oh yeah, are you crazy if you don't think he was? Tanev was by far their best defenseman.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was.
That's what I was saying.
Like, as
I've not said one bad thing about Tanev. Said Tanev's our only D-man.
So, like, you don't trust Hannafin's defense?
I didn't at the start of this year.
Okay, well, I like all those players defensively. The area I was worried about with Calgary's defense was any sort of offense. Like, that's what really worried me, and handling, obviously, all the minutes for, like, Hannafin or whoever else was going to need to fill in for Gio. That was obviously a little bit of the worry, but I thought there was just not going to be much offense and stuff like that. I thought they could play good defense. Obviously, we all should have thought, like, well, if it's the Sutter system, they'll only play defense in a sense, and
they haven't.
Their defense
just playing defense crazy,
super good, But yeah, like, when I look at Vancouver's defense, I can understand their actual defensive side of the puck being a little bit weaker than Calgary's, but I thought the offensive side and just the dynamic of most of those players would outweigh that. But Calgary's using their strengths. They're using their guys to their strengths, basically. Like, they're good defensive D-men. They're not maybe amazing offensively, but if they do the simple things, let the forwards deal with it, because they got a guy like Coleman in now, and they've got a good full forward group. So
sort of. Yeah, it's still a little bit of a hole at center on this team for sure. Like, Monahan's not your number. Like, Lindholm, I like Lindholm in a top 6 role for sure, but I feel like you need another top 6 center really desperately. Other than Monahan, I still feel that way about this team.
Yeah, no doubt.
Now I know I sound so negative on this team. This team has been so good, and at the start of the year, I had zero faith. I didn't think this team was gonna be good whatsoever. I thought they'd be more closer to, like, the low end wild card team than anything. I thought Seattle would be better than them this year, and I was well wrong about that. I think a lot of people were, though, too. I don't know. Like, I honestly, I'm looking at this team right now. I'm like, wow, this team kind of sucks on paper. This is kind of crazy. I thought Sutter was washed. I thought he was not going to be a good coach because he hasn't coached for a long time. He's got that older mentality, which is kind of slowly shifting out of the game. Just didn't see how fast the game goes working for them, but Markstrom playing out of his skin. The defense is just gelling better than I ever thought it would have this year. I thought this year would be like a nightmare defensive season, and then next year maybe it's better because they changed a lot. And then this offense has just been nonstop scoring. Goudreau looks fantastic again. Obviously, we would nonstop talking about Magic Pawnee, Blake Coleman we mentioned again. Matthew Tkachuk is also a name we didn't even bring up yet, crazy enough, and he's probably all around their best forward, like him or Lindholm. So no, it's just a good team. It's gelling well. Sutter's getting the best out of these guys, which I just didn't expect to happen, frankly.
Yeah, I fully agree. Like, I remember at the start of the season, I did not really think this was
Everyone was scared about it.
I'm really
understandably too.
What I missed, really. Like, I don't know. I must have been clouded too much over like Vancouver being so great or something like that.
I know where I got clouded with this team. It was the season
and also
before.
Seattle.
For me, it was the season before when they played in the Canadian division, which was the worst division, and still couldn't crack the top 4. That's where I was like, oh, maybe Calgary isn't good? Like, is Calgary just, like, not great? I was thinking, like, when Gaudreau isn't scoring 100 points a year.
Well.
And I wonder, and that was a very valid question then. Like, they get a brand new goalie, Markstrom, who just didn't work that year. And things look down.
Yeah, it looks good right now, that's for sure. But yeah, in all reality, this is going to probably slow down quite quickly. Like, for them to be first at the end of the year is a real big dream. Because I don't know if you've noticed around the league, but other teams are starting to wake up. And
yes, they are. Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So that's all you got in Calgary. Jordan, do you have any notes you want to add?
No, I mean, I'm just loving this Calgary team. There's not much to say beyond let's hope it continues.
Yeah, fair enough.
Everybody's playing well, really.
All right. Well, let's throw it over to your injury corner now, Jordan, while we're kind of getting closer to the end of this podcast. We'll do the injury corner, and then I got one last headliner segment, basically, we can talk about. So,
awesome.
Kick her off, Jordan.
Well, we'll start with the most recent one. The Flyers are losing Derek Brassard for at least a week and a half, it's looking like, with a lower body strain. So that's a tough blow for the Flyers, who are already quite injury-riddled.
Yeah.
Do you have anything on Hayes?
He's back.
Yeah, he's back. Showing that he's out, I thought.
No, he's back. He's.
I thought he re-injured his like his surgery or something like that.
Oh, I didn't hear anything like that.
No.
Yeah, week to week after reoccurrence of the same injury that required surgery in the postseason. So like while he was out earlier, he like re-injured that or something.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear any of that actually. I've just been seeing him play well recently, so that must have like just happened.
Yeah, he hasn't played for like.
He was only expected to miss a handful of games.
Yeah. So.
The Devils are losing Tice Thompson for at least several months. So that's a big blow. Shoulder injury. It's a big blow for a young guy.
Yep. 22-year-old right winger.
Ethan Bear has tested positive for COVID-19.
Right. That sucks.
Yes, that's shitty.
Along with like 9,000 other people.
Yeah.
Fucking 3 weeks. Like, my God.
Yeah, but it's a little different probably at Bear. Like, he tested positive. There's been so many false positives this year.
Yeah.
Like, there hasn't been actually that many players that have had COVID, but it's just false positives because they have the antibodies in their system. It's not, they're not actually ill. Or
just being placed on protocol to be safe.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of this is the doctors saying no.
Yeah, it's precautions.
Yeah, and doing testing every day.
Big blow to the Wild. Jared Spurgeon's going to be week to week with a lower body injury.
Ooh, that one's rough. One's rough. I didn't know that.
For a couple of weeks.
He's been red hot this year too, by the way. Like, he's casually been scoring a lot this year. I'm going to pull up his stats here in 3 seconds.
Yeah, those team's epic.
Yeah, like he got 8.17 games. I guess it's not as good, but there's been a couple games where I've just noticed him everywhere offensively this year. So, anyways, you can continue.
Yeah, 2 bad ones for the Islanders. Brock Nelson is going to miss 2 to 4 weeks with a lower body injury. He's
Most
currently
important
the
center.
leading point scorer.
Yep, he's their
and goal scorer as well.
Probably their best center, honestly, for everything involved.
Yeah.
Most reliable.
Yeah. Another bad one for them as well. Ryan Pulak has suffered a lower body injury, and he's going to be out for at least 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, that one I've heard, and that one's really rough. They really need him on that power play.
Yeah, he's the key in that.
Dobson's going to really need to step it up. Like, he's in this power play for them. He's going to have to jump in and play a big, big role.
Yeah. Big blow to the Lightning. Braden Point's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks with an upper body injury.
Yeah,
that
really
just sucks
blows.
in general. Seeing him play.
Yeah, 2 of their best players are out. Kucherov and Point. Like, yikes, that's rough.
Senators are losing Josh Brown for at least 4 to 6 weeks with an upper body injury.
Yeah, he was trying to make a name for himself on that decor, but
yep.
I'm sure there'll still be an opening when he comes back. So,
an important one, Barkov. His injury is only going to be week to week.
Yep.
It was a knee injury, but it's not going to require surgery.
Yeah, that they're really worried about that, and they said they're not going to make any
hit from Mayfield.
Yeah, they're not going to make any moves to fill in the gap for the foreseeable future. So.
Yeah,
that's what they came out and said. So that's good news. At least he'll be back sooner
than
later.
It's really, really good news.
No surgery's always fantastic news with players.
Yeah, exactly. It means a lot less rehab time required.
Oh, so much less.
Or it's not
and
good
less
for
strain.
The player 2-3 years down the road. We'll deal with that later.
it depends on how the injury happens, but if it was close to a tear, then maybe it should have been better to tear, or a full tear, I mean. But anyways, continue, Jordan.
That's okay. We got one more. A long-term one, unfortunately. At least the rest of the season, if not longer. Dimitri Jaskin of the Coyotes. Knee injury.
Oh, rip. I didn't hear about that one at all. That's rough.
Man, that's rough.
I like Jaskin. That was a player they probably could have gotten like a third round pick at the deadline for. At least a 4th round pick. That really blows.
This guy is.
He's awesome.
Just been lighting it up in the KHL or whatever, and then he comes here and he can't do nothing. I feel so bad for the guy.
I like Jaskin.
Yeah. I know. I like him. I thought
he's a good 2-way.
Like when he was with St. Louis, man. Like I thought he was going to be
dope.
real impactful, and he just kind of floated away and dissipated. Like he's just can't hang with the NHL. Like everybody's too good for him. That's seemingly how it is. Like 1 assist in 12 games. Like,
that's not
like
great.
I said, the guy lights it up when he goes to Europe, but he just can't do it. Just can't do it here.
Yeah, point per game in Europe.
Comes here and gets hurt. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, he's
not ideal, but
no.
Worth the money, right, bud?
Oh yeah, big time. Is that the last injury, Jordan?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Well, we'll close out the podcast on this. I just pulled up a couple of headlines from Sportsnet that are just at the quarter mark of the season, things that they've learned. So we're just going to kind of basically as topics to talk about. So first one, Connor McDavid is fantastic and generational, but Leon Draisaitl is the MVP. Kind of hard to disagree with that. Like,
yeah, he's clearly like
the first player.
Absolutely everything.
Well, I don't think McDavid's
maybe
better.
Not absolutely everything.
McDavid's a better player. McDavid's 100% the better player every single day.
I don't know, man.
Yes, he is. No, don't galaxy brain this. Please don't galaxy brain it with Draisaitl. He's awesome. I'm willing to say Draisaitl's number 2, and I literally said days ago that McKinnon I think is. McDavid's a better player. McDavid's the best player we've ever seen.
I'm 100% in the exact same boat here. When you watch the Edmonton Oilers play, your eyes are glued to McDavid, whether he's got the puck or not.
Yep. He's the most dynamic player of all time.
Draisaitl's just got that other side of the game you don't see, I feel, that doesn't pop out. And like obviously, yes, McDavid is the greatest because he can just literally
score at any time he wants.
Change a game or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
he's like that's.
It's just the size of Draisaitl and stuff like that. I feel like like when it comes down to actually playing, like you really do not want to be on the ice when Draisaitl's on the ice.
Oh,
He'll just
absolutely
dominate
not.
You sort of thing.
That's the same thing though. McDavid's one, Draisaitl's two.
It's just pulling hairs. I don't know. It's just, man, I wouldn't like to play against somebody who's like 6'4", and that's strong.
Sure.
True.
And literally the goal scoring is the other thing that like he's got an edge on McDavid when it comes to actually like just putting the puck in the net continually. Like he's been able to do it a lot more. But
I also want to point out too, yes, he has been better at scoring. Draisaitl. He's the first one to get 20 goals. He got 19 games this year. However, watching that power play,
yeah, 1 and 2 anymore. It's 1 and 1 right now until.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm still going 1 and 2, but to me and Draisaitl, every time I watch that power play, Draisaitl's open half of the power play. They mark him, and then McDavid gets puck, and they go, "Oh shit!" McDavid pulls 3 guys out, and Draisaitl gets a 1T. Now I'm not discrediting Draisaitl one bit. Like I said, second best player in the NHL. That's not I don't think that's discrediting him one bit. But the way McDavid just pulls players out and nobody can stop him unless they take a penalty. It's, yeah. McDavid's just the greatest player. And Draisaitl's the MVP thus far. The way he's played.
I can definitely.
That's what I can agree with. But overall, like, one game, winner take all, you're taking McDavid every single time. And if you don't, I think you're overthinking it too much. Is where my mind goes. Move on to next, and we'll go to Alex Ovechkin turning back the clock, and is still going strong to chase down Gretzky's goal record. Obviously, Ovi is 15 goals in 20 games and has been outstanding. Jordan, why don't you kind of talk about the experience, since you are a Caps fan and watch definitely more than we do.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. That's all I can say, right? Like,
absolutely.
He looks like he's having a blast out there. Every time the puck goes in the net, it's like it's his first.
Well, oh
That's
yeah, for sure.
changed.
Like how
it never has.
No, how lucky you and I are to be like watch Ovi for you and Crosby for me and their whole career just be the best players in the league for so long.
Yeah.
So long.
At what they do.
Yeah, and just breaking records, and Ovi is like right there, man. He's gonna do it. Like I was hesitant at first because I was like, with these shortened seasons, I think that might screw him a little bit. He's probably gonna at some point diminish, but I thought he was gonna be like a little worse than this. But he's
going for a goal a game, basically.
Yeah, like that's what's crazy. He's on pace, I think I read, for like 68 goals this year or something. Maybe a little bit more. But like, I mean, Draisaitl's on pace for 82, but like,
yeah, and he was like, I wouldn't.
He's never. He came out and said he's not gonna get that. But Ovi, if he gets at least 50, I would not be shocked one bit this year. If he gets 60, that's where I'll be like, okay, like he's 100% beating Gretzky's record. Yeah, you get 60 in a year when you're only, how far is he off? Like 150-ish,
something like
that, around that. But
far.
Yeah, like to me, this is like the last year where he can really do this, unless he can stay in good health and stuff like that for next year.
He's always been in great health. He's always been in great health, so I don't see why.
I do really feel like this was like the last year to be able to have a year like you have had, you know, like
for sure.
See the same sort of Ovi that we've been seeing, and we're almost seeing more, which is wow, like that's so cool. Like it's amazing how much better at the full game of hockey he's gotten as the years roll on. It's just love that guy.
He's adapted well with the game, and I mean it helps with his size and everything.
I've never seen him carry a team when he doesn't have his boy Backstrom around. Like usually when Backstrom's though, you guys don't usually do too hot, man. And you guys look
lost the connection there.
You guys finally, I think, feel comfortable without Backstrom for the first time ever. Yeah. Not that like you're better without him. It's just like, okay, if he's out, we can still do it.
It's not as big of an issue,
And another player
that's scary to think about. That.
Yeah, it is.
These guys gonna win a cup again, like
they could.
Bastards.
Well, and that's why I'm gonna bring up their first line center right now, and Evgeny Kuznetsov, and holy shit, how good has he been this year? He's been outstanding this year, and we all questioned it. I remember
everybody needs to hate this guy more. Hey, everybody hate this guy every start of the year.
Yeah,
say that he's going to be the worst player,
and he'll score 30 and get 70 points.
Yeah, maybe that's what we need to do for some people. That's what GMs are getting paid for.
Yeah.
They need to know their players that well. That like, okay, we just got to rip this guy. Just tell a reporter to just rip the shit out of your players so that they just play better.
Well, I mean, though, based on how he played the past 2 years since they won the cup, realistically, Kuznetsov's been bad.
Yeah.
Like he's not been very good at all compared to what he was that year. So.
Well, and something to mention too is that some players do take that pressure from the outside media and the fans, and
they love it.
And others don't. Yep. A good example of that is Jakub Zboril. He has recently deleted all of his social media, and he says he has felt so much better because of just obviously his position where he was drafted. People expected so much.
That's one thing that I think is an underrated thing players should do is I'm fine if they have a social media account, but I don't think they should have full complete access to it in the sense of going and reading comments. Just post for promotions and endorsements and stuff. Have it. It makes more sense and it makes more money into teams and leagues and gets you interested in the player more. But just don't answer anything. Don't read any comments. Post what you're going to post and ignore it. If other than that, just take out, don't have social media. That's so
why I love
stressful.
Doughty, hey? Yeah. Doughty's just straight up, I don't care. I'm reading everything. I want to hear what you have to say, straight up.
And he's just exact, hockey, so. But that's the exact opposite of the spectrum that we're talking about with Zboril. He thrives off that. Oh, Doughty loves being told to your ass. It's okay, I'll show you. He loves it even more when players on the other team call him terrible now, if you listen to his mic ups, but, no, definitely. There's definitely a lot of players who thrive and don't. So, I'm going to move on to these teams with legitimate surprise potential. Starting off, we got the Anaheim Ducks. I know we kind of talked about them, but I'm just going to list the teams and just can say whatever notes you have to say if you have any. So starting off, like I said, Anaheim Ducks, starting with Troy Terry and Zegras, obviously lighting it up. I like the balance.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I have so much more respect for McDavid and even Troy Terry because they ended their streak. Terry ended his streak at 16 games, one before my boy Zetterberg, and McDavid respectfully ended his at 17 and tied my boy Zetterberg. So hats off there, McD. I respect you. Attaboy. That's what I like to see.
For the record, McDavid, I wanted to see you kick the shit out of that record, but anyways, we'll continue.
Respect your elders.
Yeah. All right, so Anaheim Ducks, you guys got nothing on them. We did talk about them already, so I understand if you're good. Columbus Blue Jackets. I know we also kind of a little bit talked about them. Can we talk about for a second about Max Domi and how awesome he's looked the past couple games? He's scored I'm pretty sure 4 goals in the past 3 games or something like that. He's looked
that's how you play
awesome.
when you're trying to get traded.
Yeah, honestly, he really wants out of there. He did, at least. I don't know if he necessarily would now, because they're actually playing offensively.
It's so funny when players do that. Hey, they just go into the year and they're just get me out of this place.
Yeah.
This is terrible. I don't want to be here. Guys don't even
And then your team does good.
Garbage team. And then they just play good and you're just sitting there I'm so dumb.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Some players open their mouth a little too quick.
I'm healthy and I feel like I might not get started in this game.
Well, he's over a point per game right now. He's got 7 games, 2 goals, 6 assists. So that's awesome. He's been doing real good. Just want to talk about this team and Cole Sillinger too. Crazy. Is he going to play the whole year?
I don't see why not.
He's already played 17, so the first year is burnt already of his ELC.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Like when I heard that he was one of the more ready players for the NHL, I was a little thrown away when we were looking up draft time.
Yep.
But like, geez, to actually think he was actually gonna play like the whole
I
year.
didn't think he was gonna be this ready. Like I thought maybe like these guys could start the season, play the first 7 games, and show who they are, but maybe not this. I never expected Cole Sillinger to do this. To play every game. Be good, be great.
Fully agree. Like this is something you wish the guy was going to do a couple years from now or something like that. Which is like kind of like Dawson Mercer. Like who are these guys just stepping in and just being like, I'm playing hockey.
Cole Sillinger single-handedly probably won the Seth Jones trade. Like for Columbus,
whoever made those trades for those picks won. Like whoever got those picks won.
Yeah,
100%. It was like I said. It was just why would you be trading these high of picks?
Yeah, I agree.
As Philly, as whatever, like I'm not saying it's not bad to go and get OEL or it's not bad to go get a Risto, but like we even said, are you going to keep Risto? Like you might not even be able to keep Risto. So like, but anyways, like yeah, man, I don't think it was a good idea at all to like top 15 picks, man. Jeez, they were like top 13 picks, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I think. It was something like that. They did like a pick swap, second last pick of the draft for Chicago, and Columbus moved up. And Columbus gets next year's Chicago pick.
Yeah, and this was a year that there was clearly 10 players, 10 just skaters that were for sure going to be pretty good. Like they're real good hype on for sure 10 players.
Well, they didn't get to play as much, so they didn't get to play as much. So like. The placement of where they're drafted is gonna like in 10 years we're gonna look at this past draft and go, how did they mess up so bad? And it's strictly gonna be because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
because
like what
people
if
didn't play.
Johnson is the best?
Yeah,
like,
that's totally possible.
Like all you needed was that year or something. So it's just so weird that they did that. Like I was saying during the draft, it's so funny that Dallas just started. It's like they were the only team that was like realized it,
Yeah.
They're like, okay, give you want to trade up 3 picks? I'll take 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me them. Like,
for sure. So
no, they are just winning. That Chinnikov with Sillinger is just awesome. They got
Elvis has been outstanding. He's a top 10. Yeah. Well, and that's another note we should bring up. We should put our condolences for Lionel. His father just passed away last week. So that's why he hasn't been playing. Yeah, that's why he hasn't been playing. Yeah.
I didn't hear anything. I thought he got hurt.
It was on
he got hurt.
No, he's not. His personal leave, his dad just passed away. Columbus tweeted about it, I think, a couple days ago. So yeah, I should have started off with that. That totally slipped my mind.
Wasn't on the Twitter
the
last couple of days.
I literally caught it as
kind of kept out of that.
I caught it as they tweeted it. I don't think I would have seen it even if I hadn't noticed they tweeted it within the hour I was looking at Twitter. So it's the only reason I noticed it. So I mean, first off,
weirdly enough, when stuff like that happens, that really kind of gives a team a boost. Like that really gets you like thinking about only hockey. Like let's get hockey in, because let's not think about stuff like that. Like. All the best for a teammate and stuff like that, but yeah, makes you want to play even better.
Yeah, and when your goalie Elvis
outside stuff going on.
Yeah, when Elvis is top 10 in goals saved above expected.
Oh well, when you have pads that nice, like you're not gonna play good in front of him.
Yeah, he's been so good. I've been loving my choice for him for Vezina. Like,
no doubt,
looking real good. Love it. So love this Columbus team. I don't think they'll be able to keep it up, unfortunately, but I think they could be finally a really good team next year. Or not next year, in the future. I mean, like a competitive cup contender. Moving on to the final team who has thrived this year at the start, Minnesota Wild. We didn't really talk too much about them. Do you guys have anything? I'll throw it to Jordan first. You got anything on the Wild that you want to bring up?
I mean, how good is Kirill Kaprizov?
Yeah, first thing you should bring up with that team. He is so good.
When you talk about Minnesota, you talk about Kirill Kaprizov.
He creates so much for that team that it's a miracle he doesn't have more points than he already does.
Yeah, he brings people a unbelievable level of offense to that team that they absolutely crucially need.
Yes. What you're saying there, Chase?
It's just a lot of fantasy players and stuff like that, or like, should I be worried? Like, this guy's not scoring goals and stuff.
Yeah, I have him in my team, so
like super good. Hey, like playing
Yeah.
amazing hockey and stuff like that.
I
but it's just
know.
like, oh man, he's not really scoring goals like I thought he would.
I know.
Oh man, should I trade him or what did I do? Yeah.
I know. I've been
this
keeping him,
team
just
is-
waiting for him to like finally start popping off on my fantasy team. Like,
This team is straight up Ryan Hartman. Like, this is awesome,
Yeah,
man.
I love
this
this
guy
team.
found himself. This is so cool. It looks like they got Greenway, Eriksson, Ek, and Foligno together.
Yeah.
So cool. Maybe we can get some Greenway going here. He's been playing basically a fourth line.
he's been rough.
Probably just
start
because
to the year.
Duhaime's been just unbelievable.
Yeah, Duhaime's been real good.
Or like Rem Pitlick.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, they're random guys are really starting to pay off now, you know. And then Nico Sturm, a Duhaime, Rem Pitlick. There you go. You know,
Love it.
like, just
Talbot's
extra
been great
guys.
too. Like, goaltending's looked well. Like,
Their defensive fix, like unlike Vancouver, you know, they
Yeah.
brought in the right pieces. The right pieces work.
Goligoski's looked dope. I love the Goligoski. So
Yeah, he's been getting mad points for this team.
sure.
Old Johnny Merrill always just looks like a beaut, but no, I love watching this team. Like, they are exciting games all of a sudden.
yes.
Like I said, the only thing I can be worried about is just, man, they let in a lot of goals. Like,
Yeah, they
if
do.
you guys can't keep scoring, you're probably
Well, and
to have
Spurgeon
a-
being out for an extended period of time now is not going to help that. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
But Dumba's been playing pretty good.
Dumba's all
Has he
right.
been playing good enough? Like, buddy, you
We'll
gotta-
find out.
one of these
He's
days gonna
the
step
number
up,
one
like,
guy.
super good, right? Like, one of these days, we've been saying it for 4
This is
years.
his chance.
One of these days.
But this is the chance to do it. Like, he's the best defenseman on the team right now, frankly.
Man, he got like 50 points that one year. Like, where are you, Dumba?
What if that was
You're
just a
somewhere.
season that isn't? What if he just isn't that player?
What was
And he
that
just-
year? No, it was, yeah, it was. It was 50 points in
Yeah.
82 games.
Oh,
His
yeah.
one full season that he played. Like,
What if he
Man.
isn't necessarily that player and just had a really great year? That's also something
I
that we
know.
can talk about.
he did have 4 straight years of getting 10 goals. Which
Yeah.
is
Oh yeah. I'm not
quite
saying he's
impressive.
not a
So,
top 4 very good right hand defenseman, but I'm just saying maybe he's not like a 50-60 point guy consistently.
Yeah. As a defenseman, though, getting older, 27, 28, he might actually find another.
Yeah,
little,
never know. Might find
little
another
bit of
gear.
himself.
Another gear. Let's
God.
move on to.
He does. Like, God, this team's gonna be so ridiculously good.
For sure. Let's move on to some teams with legitimate disappointment this year, or at least potential. I'm going to probably breeze through this a lot faster because we kind of talked about all these teams. So first off, Vancouver, I'm going to skip that right away because we've talked about them long enough. We got the Islanders here to talk about. We kind of talked about them. Do you guys have any other points you want to bring up about the Islanders? Because we did talk kind of in depth.
No, I think I said everything I wanted to say.
Jordan, do you want to, anything else? Or are you good?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, and then finally Montreal. So not surprising, these 3 teams at all that are in this fold.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like saying anything else about Montreal because I'm starting to feel bad about how I've been talking about the Habs this year. Like at first it was kind of funny because like I was hearing Habs fans all last year like, haha, we're going to the final, even though we shouldn't be. Like,
Yeah, man.
I
like,
was so sick of that. I was like, yes, they suck.
the amount
Like,
of
fuck
times
you
I got
guys.
ripped- The amount of times I got ripped on like Cap Friendly when I did like a trade or something. Like, I think when I did that Dumba trade, people
Yeah.
were ripping me for saying that their pick this upcoming year was going to be like a 12 or 10 to 15 or something like that. Like, guys are just losing their mind. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, I'm just saying you're gonna like just so miss the playoffs. Like, isn't that like pretty much like as good as you want to do this year? Like, what are you talking about? If you guys squeeze the playoffs, obviously, yeah, that's the goal. Like last year.
Yeah, right now
Like,
it seems to
they're
just
going
blow
to
it
get
up.
a top 10 pick, like
Easy.
100%.
Easy,
Like,
for sure. Yeah,
and,
so
like,
it's just
I don't see too much light coming out because like Petrie's not there.
he's older
Unless
too.
Edmondson like
I
actually
love
like,
Petrie.
changes the face of this team when he comes back, and same with Price. Like they're
No.
100% bottom 10, like
But
100%.
this team is-
whether even if they come back and play good, like
But, like, this team just has never been that great. Like, why does all of a sudden these people think that, like, Montreal is this awesome team? They went to a final last year. Great. Good for them. They shouldn't have even been in the playoffs, statistically. Like, if this was a regular season without a pandemic, they miss playoffs. That's a legit fact. And it just, I don't understand where this false hope is coming from. Can you not?
It's probably why they did so good, because they weren't supposed to be there. Like,
the Leafs were smoking them.
Like,
we don't talk about that series enough. The Leafs dominated Montreal in the first 4 games and were up 3-1 and then gave them the 3 wins.
Yeah.
Like, completely gave it to them. The Habs weren't better at really any time in that series against the Leafs. The Leafs just beat themselves. And then they got on a run. They beat Winnipeg. And just kept going. Like, Vegas gave up on them too. Every team except for Tampa gave up on Montreal and said, it's Montreal.
They are trending towards what we were kind of talking about. They got Poling in there trying to do the saving grace.
I love Poling, man.
4th line center right
He's
now.
been good.
Yeah,
he's been good.
Gonna be the next one coming up. Yeah, like I
he's got 3 points, 3 goals in 7 games.
Saving grace for the team. It's Poling coming up and just lighting it up, taking over for like a 3rd line center role instead of
exactly.
Evans going 4th line.
I love Evans, so I don't mind him as a 3rd line. I think he could eventually get there.
I don't either. I think he's wicked on that team.
Another guy like Gallagher. Hey, like
he's struggling right now. I'm hearing they might trade him. There's a big rumor going around.
When they signed that contract, it was inevitable they were going to trade him.
Oh, for sure. But, like, it's weird that's this early. This is the first year into the deal, isn't it? Pretty sure it is.
Probably, man.
I think this is because I think they signed an extension a year, like 2 years ago. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it just kicked in this year. So that's not great.
This year or last year, and no, it's not. No,
it's not bad, but like it's Chris Kreider's contract is what it is, pretty much. It's Chris Kreider just on a different team.
Yeah,
and he doesn't score as much as Kreider. Okay, let's not this year's Chris Kreider.
I don't know
last year's Chris Kreider
him to Kreider, because I do feel like it's.
I see a little bit. It's just net front presence. Like, they play similar roles, similar cap hit.
To me, he's been very off.
Yes, he has.
Longer than just this year.
That injury at the end of last year does not look like it's sitting well at all with him. So that definitely could be.
29 years old, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
But let's slide off of Montreal, because like I said, I don't want to bash them too hard, but I can't really say much good about them right now. So last stuff we're going to talk about the best and worst off seasons quick. So the best free agent signing, trade, worst signing, worst trade. So start off with the best, and they're saying the best trade, Pavel Buchnevich to St. Louis for Sammy Blais in a second. Do you guys agree with that?
For what?
Best trade. About? Best trade of the offseason.
Like this offseason. Pavel Buchnevich to St. Louis.
Yes.
Like for them winning. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
St. Louis stole that.
Yes. The runner-up for it was the Alex Nedeljkovic trade to Detroit.
Yeah, so that was what came to my mind.
Yeah, just for how little they got him at.
Yeah, they gave a bag of peanuts for him.
Yeah, gave like a goalie in a third, or Bernie in a third
round pick, man. 3rd round picks, dude. They're not bad sometimes, but
they're not bad. But like, look at Nedeljkovic, who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
no, they wanted to go with the old. It almost seemed more like a free agent acquisition.
It did seem like a trade because they signed him.
Because like in all reality, it was clear that like they wanted to just have a veteran goalie, like a stellar, like solidified veteran goalie, and not have like a kid in there and put the weight of a Stanley Cup on him.
Yeah, that's definitely it. But I don't love that, because I think they should have not signed maybe Ranta and kept Nedeljkovic. Like, that would have been better. But, whatever. Doubt. I'm not the GM. I don't make these decisions. So
yeah, you could have easily done that.
Well, let's continue on Carolina and talk about the best free agency ad, which is Freddie Anderson, they're saying, which kind of hard to disagree. Yeah, there's 2 other names here too, though, that are honorable mentions, are pretty big. But Freddie.
Oh, probably the other guy on
Zach. No, actually. Or yes, it is. One is Tony DeAngelo, $1 million deal for like an elite offensive defenseman. He's awful defensively, like useless.
So just
but
I've never noticed this, but like, what, does he skate really weird? Like, has he always
he
skated
does.
like this?
Yeah,
I thought he was
yeah.
a super good skater. I thought he was so smooth.
He's not a smooth skater, but he's fast.
And, like, stuff like that. But like, I was watching him, and he looks like he's got something up his bum, and like, I don't know what's going on. Like,
he's just
like,
fast.
Is this a different player? I swear you skated completely different. Like,
I don't think
he almost
so.
looks like a cowboy on the ice or something.
He looks like he's skating kind of normal to me. Like, not normal, but like for him normal. I think he's pretty quick still. But back on,
this is how he skates.
For sure. So they say Freddie, then Tony, and third being Zach Hyman, obviously.
Oh,
I'd almost say Zach Hyman.
I'd almost say Zach Hyman because
I'm gonna say no.
Perfect.
I'm gonna say no because he plays with McDavid and Draisaitl, and like that's nice. And Freddie has like the greatest goaltending numbers, like, and nobody expected Freddie to be this good, right? That's
I did. I put money down on him winning the Vezina. So
maybe not no one, but a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's washed up. He's not great." And like, look at my Leafs fans.
Maple Leaf news.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was mainly Maple Leaf news. I've always liked Freddie. I've never had an issue with him. I didn't think he was gonna be this good though. I never would have guessed he'd be this good. In Carolina.
I still relive the whole Anaheim having to choose over Freddie and Gibson after Freddie went like 17-1-1 at the end of the season.
They chose between crazy enough, still chose right. At least they chose right. And Freddie's still sick.
Never want to get rid of
Gibson. You don't get rid of Gibson. Nope. Let's move on to the.
But no, I do like Hyman for the best signing because I think that's a piece they've needed. Like they need that extra piece, whether he's playing with great players and it's making him seem so much better. I think that was
sure
the Nuge. That's the other side of Nuge they needed.
No, I 100% agree.
Group. So I think I give him number one just because I believe there's several other goalies that could be where Freddie is right now.
I'm gonna go with Freddie still because I didn't expect him to be this much better.
Just jealous.
Like Carolina is like so much better than I thought they'd be, and I still put Carolina in first. Like for my standings, they're that good. They have the least goals against. Like they're playing. They're considered playing poor right now, and they're 6-3-1. This is poor for their season at the minute. So that's where I'm like. It's got to be him. He's made them just look like the best team in the league, frankly. So but like you're not wrong with Hyman. Hyman's like right there. So let's move on to the worst trade and then the worst signing. They got this. Can you guess what the first worst trade is?
No.
It was the biggest trade of the offseason. It's the Seth Jones trade.
Risto?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Risto right now.
Fair enough. It's Seth Jones. I'd probably agree with that. They gave up Adam Boquist, a second, a 2021 first, and a 2022 first. Like, that's not great for return for Jones. Or that's getting Jones back.
Cole Sillinger.
It was Cole Sillinger. Sorry, that's all I have in front of me.
They got Cole Sillinger,
Adam Boquist, Jake Bean, and probably a top 10 pick next year. This draft.
Yeah.
So
who even cares what those picks are? You already won the trade.
You've already won the trade with that. Yeah, they could have not gotten the pick this year, and they probably win the trade still. So.
Like I understand that, like you might not like win a Stanley Cup because you don't have veterans and stuff like that when you make moves like this.
Yeah,
so, like you're losing.
He was gonna leave anyways. Seth Jones.
I don't know. The way I see it is, if you keep making moves like that, you'll definitely be good.
For sure.
Trading for veterans, you definitely fall off. Or keep paying for veterans, bringing in veterans
at the wrong time. Yep.
At
the wrong time. You gotta do it the right timings. And I don't hate Seth Jones. Like, he's not been great. I don't hate Seth Jones. I just don't see how Chicago looked at their team and go, we're a Seth Jones away from being a cup contender. I don't know where Stan Bowman's logic went with that. Apparently, same logic he used when they buried the fucking.
I feel like things would be different if they at least had Keith, man. You know, like Keith was a big piece of that team. just the team.
They wouldn't be able to get Seth Jones without Keith, though, is the issue. Being gone is the cap.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
That's the biggest issue. This trade just was like crazy off the start. We knew it was too much for Chicago paying already, and it's just not worked either. Not that Seth Jones have been terrible, but
let's talk about some Stan Bowman trades quick, because in all reality, it's not even just big trades, but like,
can we save that for next podcast, because we're kind of like getting close on time here.
Just like literally like 2 seconds. I'm just wondering, like, look at the guys like Ryan Hartman and some of these guys that are just not on this team anymore. The trades that they've made, getting Philip Deneau, they traded Strome for Schmaltzy, and like just
Schmaltz is also gone.
Moves have weirdly not worked out, but they also do work out because they do have prospects and stuff like that. But yeah, man, just look around the league and start realizing who all these like small moves were that Chicago just gave up. And like Ryan Hartman might be a second line center for the rest of his career. Like,
I wouldn't stretch it that far, but he's been very good this year. That would be pretty nuts.
Definitely a
he's playing it right now.
That's for sure.
Absolutely, he is right now. He's a second liner right now, but I'm not willing to like say after the first 20 games of the season that he's a second line.
It's just that there's a lot of like super two good players that just floated away from the Blackhawks.
Oh yeah, wow.
And now they have Seth Jones.
Lots of bad stuff happened in Chicago we didn't realize. So
apparently,
let's move on to our final topic: the worst free agency of the offseason. And hilariously enough, it's the same team with the best signing. They got Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Signed at 6.1 for 1 year, offer sheeted, obviously. We talked about this in depth in the offseason. And he's currently demoted to their fourth line. So
playing fourth line.
Nice. 10 minutes, and saying this, he's just over 10 minutes of ice time, 1 point in his last 11, with very favorable offensive zone and sheltered minutes. So that's rough. That's really bad. That's not looking good. And I mean, we all looked at that money and we were like, whoa.
Not going to live up to that.
Not going to live up to that. But like, I understood some of the logic if he could do well and then you could sign him to like a 8-year, $5 million contract or something, right? Like maybe he'll take the term. But
I would rather give up money than picks on picks on picks on picks.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what everybody else seems to do. So I'm very okay with the fact that they went ahead and said, we're going to kind of waste this money to steal this player for the future. And if he's got to play third, fourth line for a year or two, then so be it. Yeah, they're obvious. This is good. They're not going to have to pay him this all next year.
Well, no, they might because if he doesn't sign a deal for cheaper, he'll just sign a 6.1 qualifying. He can do that for the next 5 years if he wants to.
Yeah,
or they can let him walk. It's either going to do that 1 year at a time until they just say, "Okay, no, we're just not going to sign you," at a 24-year-old and he's not doing anything or some point. Or they're going to have to sign him $6 million if he doesn't just say, okay, I've not played well. Give me $4 million for like a long ass time and I'll sign it. Yeah. Just so he gets a guaranteed money.
Yeah, all possible.
So,
all possible.
Never know what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and judge this offseason.
His boys and Aho and stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty sure he's
I'm not worried. I'm not worried about Kotkaniemi. I'm not that worried. Yeah. But thus far, based on the offseason, he's probably been the worst because of the money, what they gave up. So, and then the honorable mention is Nick Ritchie in Leafland, which is kind of funny. So, but that's all the.
What do you mean? Didn't they put him on the first line again?
Yeah, but he's got 1 point this year, and he just got his first point the other night. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Serious?
Yes, he just got his first assist the other night. And I'm pretty sure they just put him back down the lineup and moved Bunting back up to the top line. In the LA game, if I remember correctly.
Oh, man. Bunting looks good on that.
I love Bunting. He does.
Simmons, man. Like, you almost got to find somebody else. Like, I know I was saying that
I
thought Bunting would end up in the top 6 there. But
I think he will.
He plays on the bottom 6. Screw it, man. plays way
for
off
this
of
year. If they could get a trade deadline, if they could get like a Raquel healthy for the top 6 for one more year,
oh yeah,
that'd be dope. That'd be so awesome for that team.
3 assists, the old Richie. Hey, nice. That's clutch.
Not great. Wow.
2 power play assists.
But he just got those points like within the past 3 games. So yeah, not looking good.
Well, I feel somewhat okay about Colin. I didn't think he'd be like, I don't know, maybe he's just.
I thought he'd be better than
being
this.
more irrelevant. Than
know what though?
Actually, think maybe he'll be better a little bit later.
I think he's been okay.
Didn't expect like no points whatsoever here.
I think he's been okay in a fourth line role though, Richie. He's been effective there. Mm-hmm. Like I don't disagree with that. It's the $2.5 million you're paying him to play there is the issue. You're paying him $800K. Leafs don't care. Leaf fans do not care that Richie is on that team on the fourth line. You would like him to score more, but you're really like, okay, whatever.
Well, score it all. Like that's where.
Yeah, for sure. But that's what I'm saying. If he's a fourth line player, not making $2.5 million, it's like whatever. But he's making $2.5 million and was expected to be in a top 6 role.
Classic Leafs luck. Hey, they make some contracts. Oh, we had to give this guy an extra year. Oh, whatever. Other contracts will pay off and all that. Oh,
but they did.
Yeah, that was
is the difference.
One contract.
There's only one contract they shouldn't have went 2 years on. But like the Kasha's looked great. Like Bunting's looked fantastic. They've made some good signings, the Leafs, this offseason. Just the one that's going to cost them the most cap is screwing them the most. So yeah,
like how much does it cost to make somebody pay $2 million? Hey, how much does $2.5 million cost in draft picks?
Yeah, well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out how much it is to bury that. So unless they trade Kerfoot first,
that's actually a good point. How much does he cost if you throw him in the A like next year or something?
Well, half of the contract if you bury it. It's half. Yeah, that's how it goes. If it's above like a certain number, it's half, or something like that. Or a certain percentage of the cap, it's half. I would need to see how much.
Yeah, I just remember like Rousseau and Beagles was like 1.8.
And they were making like 3 something.
We're making straight 3. So
yeah, so it's just over 50% then maybe based on the cap. Well, let's see how much cap he takes up. Oh my God, he is. Oh, that's crazy. Who he's all being paid more than Richie. Looking, he's making 3.1% of the cap. So yeah, I imagine it's probably around like 1,500 or 1.5 mil. Sorry. Buried that is still under, but I'm not sure. So, but anyways, do you guys have any final notes before I close out the podcast here?
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Go follow our social medias on Twitter and Instagram at the Couch on Ice. You can find our YouTube channel there too. We're posting podcasts there. We're gonna post some videos there soon. But for now, we'll catch you guys on Tuesday's episode and.